is A to Z with Mark Zinno, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, and it starts now.
Good afternoon. Welcome to A to Z here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, where today I tell you maybe it's time to make a move. Welcome in. We are live here on this Monday from parts unknown. Yes, once again, I am on vacation. How does this work out? Nonetheless, I will be with you here from the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania. Hey, I didn't pick the vacation spot. Mom did. Mom paid, so I just showed up. That's the best kind of vacation to go to. More on that. Follow me on Twitter at Mark Zinno. Follow the entire network at Locked On ATL. Got a lot to get to today, including somebody who should win an award that has no business winning it. We'll get to that. Big news in the NBA that still affects the Atlanta Hawks as the Hawks continue to be put in trade rumors for one other specific player. That's all coming up on the show on this Monday. Again, thank you guys for making A to Z and Locked On Sports part of your everyday sports listen. Okay. Now, by the way, this segment brought to you by our good friends at Sports Card Investors. I've said this for a couple of weeks, and people told me I was crazy. I've been saying for a couple of weeks that this team, this Braves team, is not done being made yet. Well, guess what? You have two things now that have happened over the course of this weekend that should automatically make you start to think, hey, Zinno was right. Here we go. One of them, obviously, Adam Duvall, goes on the IL, has to have season-ending surgery, and that is now a guy who was part of a platoon situation in left field, right? That was a guy that was offensively still somebody, even off the bench, that could help you out and do some damage and things of that nature and be a plus bat on this team and even a plus fielder to a certain extent. And now he's done for the year. So you're not just going to go, hey, Eddie Rosario, that left field job, all yours. You take it. We're not going to play anybody else there but you. Nah, it's not going down like that. So the Braves are going to have to figure out a way to replace Adam Duvall's bat, his glove, and whatever else he was bringing you off the bench. Now, I know overall his numbers weren't that great this year, and you may be saying, well, since he's not that big of an offensive piece this year, then I don't really need to worry about what he's going to provide to the team. That's not like a good way to value these things. Remember, Adam Duvall was a big part of your playoff run last year. And I've talked repeatedly about all those guys who were parts of your playoff run last year. You can't automatically assume they'll be parts of the playoff run this year. But that said, you still need the body. And, if Duvall was a guy you trust, if Duvall was a guy that you thought really highly of, and somebody who could be a plus piece in the playoffs, again, pinch hit at bats, off the bench cold, able to get big hits. Duvall kind of has a track record for that over his career. And look, he's well liked around the Braves clubhouse and everything else. So you're going to be missing that portion of things as well. Alex Anthopoulos is going to have to figure out how to replace him. And that is something that is going to challenge Alex going forward. Because I told you guys, there were ways to prove that this team was not complete, ready for the playoff run as is. That was piece number one. Piece number two, tell you about that in a second, but first a word from our friends at Sports Card Investors. I don't know if you guys are into baseball cards. I was huge into them as a kid, and they're all in the box in my house, and I haven't touched them. They're all in the card protectors and everything. But whether you're a casual card collector looking for an exciting alternative investment opportunity, free Sports Card Investor app, that's the place you go. Breakout stars that you can find, or check the value, find deals on their great cards. The new guys who've come up like Adley Rutschman, Jeremy Pena, all these guys who make the jumps to the big leagues. Or if you want nostalgia for older players, go back in time and see how much your cards are worth and how much they're worth today. Or if you're just interested in getting into sports cards, you can find great deals on all your favorite players of today as well. So that is the way you do it. But download the Sports Card Investor app today, available for free, on Google Play and the Apple app, or go to Apple App Stores, or go to sportscardinvestor.com/locked on. As you can see, I'm excited. That's why I'm having trouble reading. But nonetheless, Sports Card Investor app, and sportscardinvestor.com/locked on. The other piece of the Atlanta Braves that is starting to be worrisome is Ian Anderson. He got shelled yesterday against the Angels. And I have told you repeatedly, Morton didn't have a terrible start out, didn't have a great start out, but those are two guys that I had a ton of concerns with. And even though Brian Snitker says he's going to keep sending Anderson out there every fifth day when he's got a 5.1 ERA, that's a nice vote of confidence. But if you're trying to catch the Mets, it's not always the smartest plan. And so I'm not saying that Ian Anderson needs to be replaced. I'm not saying that Ian Anderson needs to be traded. What I'm saying is that depth is always your friend, and that Alex Anthopoulos could go use another quality arm, one way or another. You know what happens, guys, when pitchers struggle. They end up on the injured list because, well, they're forearm soreness, right arm soreness, whatever it may be, and somebody else gets to come in and get a shot. That's essentially what happens. And I'm not sure if Ian Anderson is headed down that road or not, but I do know every fifth day he does not give you a good chance to win a game, and especially not at home. At home last year, he was so good. This year at home, he's terrible. He needs to be so much better than what he was. And it is not something that really, as you get deeper into August, can you continue to send? I mean, this is a tough decision for Snitker. Can you continue to send him out there every fifth day? There are a lot of starting options out there. I was just having a conversation with my brother here on vacation about talking about the available arms out there. And still, a guy like Madison Bumgarner certainly gets me thinking. Why? Because of his postseason experience, because of his big game experience, because he knows how to get hitters out. He's pitching in Arizona right now on a team that can't score runs. If he pitches with the Braves on a team that averages 5 runs a game, that's a different pitcher, especially down the stretch. And certainly in the postseason, if you get in a pickle, you want to start for game 4, Madison Bumgarner is not a terrible choice with all of his postseason success to start game 4 of a playoff series. So I think that's somebody and a name that you can look to. That's somebody that at least is out there and would be available. And I think that there is more of those guys out there. Heck, Zach Greinke could be available. And I'm just throwing names out there. Not necessarily I think these are perfect fits for the Braves. But the point simply is that every one of these teams that thinks they can win a World Series isn't standing pat at the deadline going, we're good. That's not the mantra. That's not the attitude to have. So when I said basically a month ago that Alex Anthopoulos needs to be every bit of aggressive at this trade deadline as he was last year at the trade deadline, I meant it. And I'm telling you I was right. And I'm telling you it's going to happen because he knows better than anybody. Those moves at the deadline can absolutely change the course of your season and win you a World Series, much like it did for the Braves last year. So this team is not done being structured. It's not done as far as the playoff roster is concerned. And don't be surprised to see Alex make some pretty notable moves when it comes to August 2nd, which is the trade deadline. All right, coming up next, there is an award that's going to be given out at the end of the year to somebody who should get it, but has no reason to get it. I'll explain that coming up next. It's A to Z right here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, free on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Search Locked On Sports Atlanta.